Instead of the sub-girt framing being outward of the sheathing, which results in thermal inefficiency at every through fastener. Instead of trying to outwit the weather so that the outward mineral wool does not blow away in a windstorm. Instead of having outward insulation, which produces the conditions for summertime condensation, which then wets the insulation, then which loses its insulation value while wet. Instead of the air barrier delaminating or blowing away before the cladding is installed, back-lattice is a better wall assembly. With back-lattice, the sub-girts and the total and continuous insulations are prefabricated and inward of the sheathing. This results in no through fasteners, only incremental for high performance energy efficiency. No outward mineral wool or sub-girts. With back-lattice, the exterior is referred to as naked. There is nothing outward of the protected sheathing. It is simply a naked wall that is ready for the final panel joint flashing and the finished cladding. No problem condensation. Back-lattice has thermal modeling and woolfing modeling from Miami up into Canada, proving its multi-season performance. No winter condensation. And yes, summer condensation, but only where it belongs and can be safely managed. No mechanically fastened sheet membranes, and no short-term delamination. Back-lattice only uses fully bonded, vapor-permeable air and weather barriers with a 12-month exposure. This allows for open-jointed rain screen and plenty of time for the construction schedule and for cooperative weather. With back-lattice, our goal is faster, cheaper, better. Hello, and welcome to a short presentation which focuses on the back fusion portion of the back-lattice exterior wall assembly. This is David Schoenhardt, the president of Back-Lattice Wall Systems. My over 40 years as an architect and building enclosure specialist has led me to inventing and developing this back-lattice innovative and high-performance wall assembly. In this presentation, we will start by reviewing the panelized stud and sub-girt framing along with the thermal isolation pads that were discussed in detail during our last presentation. Next, we will describe the exterior glass mat gypsum sheathing for both non-rated and fire-rated assemblies. Then, the air and weather resistant and vapor permeable exterior barrier protection of the sheathing. Next, the all in total closed cell spray polyurethane foam insulation. Then we will describe the special requirements for wall openings such as at a window. Next, the optional between stud mineral wool batt insulation, which is used to either super insulate the wall or to protect the wall for a 2-hour fire-rated assembly. Then finally, we will discuss the interior gypsum drywall when in a non-rated and in a fire-rated assembly. As a review of the last presentation, the back-lattice wall assembly method of prefabricating the primary frame consists of the stud frame along with the sub-girt frame. These two frames are separated by thermal isolation pads and fastened with a single number 12 at each intersection. The two frames may be fabricated together as one assembly, or they may be fabricated as two pre-framed assemblies that are then joined together. The primary frame, made up of the stud and sub-girt frames, are located inwards of the exterior sheathing. The prefabricated back-lattice panel includes the exterior glass mat gypsum sheathing. Typically, one layer of 5/8 inch Type X sheathing is utilized, while if fire rated, 2 layers are required towards the side of the fire exposure. The sheathing may be applied vertically or horizontally, but if fire rated, they are then applied only horizontally. This is because back-lattice wants every panel joint to be backed up and supported by the horizontal back-furring. The back-lattice branded back-furring provides a generous 1 3/4 inches wide leg, which readily accommodates the two sheathing panels, each with a 1/2 inch fastener to edge setback, and it also allows for some construction tolerance. Back-lattice thinks through and tests the little details. The sheathing panels buffet the positive and negative wind loading pressures. Thus, their bracing and fastening is critical to understand. The back-furring, which braces the sheathing, is spaced by the wind pressure limitations of the sheathing, in addition to the dead load of the cladding system, and the pull-out strength of the single number 12 fastener at each 18 gauge sub-furring to 18 gauge stud intersection. Meanwhile, the deflection criteria for the back-furring is equally L/600 or L/360. As examples, with the furring at 24 inches on center and the studs at 24 inches on center, while the sheathing fasteners are at the typical 8 inches on center, then the allowable uniform wind loading is 24 psf. With the furring at 16 inches on center and the studs still at 24 inches on center, then the wind loading is 38 psf. At the corners of the building with even greater wind pressure, when the furring is at 16 inches on center, and the studs are also at 16 inches on center, while the sheathing fasteners are at 6 inches on center, then the allowable wind loading is 50 psf. While the sheathing chart references number 6 fasteners, back-lattice only utilizes number 8 sheathing fasteners. Back-lattice has the ability to accommodate a wide range of wind loadings from 24 psf up to 93 psf using 18 gauge back-furring, and even greater loadings if the heavier 16 gauge is used in special conditions. What is referred to as a naked exterior, back-lattice provides an exterior panel face that consists only of the air and weather barrier protected sheathing. This means that there is no requirement for exterior mineral wool insulation or outward sub-girt framing. Back-lattice has been NFPA 285 evaluated for this special naked wall condition, which lists a wide range of high-performance air and weather barrier products, as well as the use of lightweight, non-combustible claddings, as well as the spray foam insulation. Back-lattice utilizes vapor permeable, which means greater than 10 perm, air and weather barrier membranes of either board applied, fluid applied, or self-adhering membranes. Having the naked outward membrane means that once the back-lattice panel is installed, its exterior is almost finished. What remains is the final flashing of the panel and the installation of the exterior rain screen claddings. Before the cladding proceeds, Back-Lattice encourages quality control testing of the installed completed Back-Lattice wall panel assembly with its naked protected sheathing exterior. Back-Lattice encourages the use of 12-month rated air and weather barrier in order to accommodate open jointed rain screen cladding and also to provide more than sufficient time for the scheduling of the final cladding in better weather. Now let's begin addressing the interior or inward side of the back-lattice wall assembly. The inward side of the sheathing receives back-sprayed 3 5/8 inch thick, 2-pound density closed cell spray polyurethane foam. Per code, the foam is Class A with a flame spread of less than 25 and smoke developed of less than 450, and it complies with NFPA 285 for vertical and lateral fire propagation and fire blocking within the cavity spaces. The spray foam is closed cell for its insulation efficiency, but that feature is also beneficial because when it is at least 1.5 inches thick, it provides a Class 2 vapor retarder, as is required in climate zones 5 and above. Its closed cell structure prevents the formation of condensation because there is no air or moisture vapor occurring within its closed cell mass. This means that the natural wintertime outward vapor drive does not form harmful condensation. The spray foam also provides a bidirectional vapor retarder, which means in addition to its interior side vapor protection, its exterior side is also protected from inward vapor drive during hot and humid climates. The back-sprayed insulation upon the sheathing then fully engulfs the ingenious crisscross back framing by encapsulating the back furring and thermal isolation pads, isolating the studs from the sheathing, and capturing the outer stud flanges so that the solid foam mass becomes the complete total and continuous insulation. The back-lattice entire wall assembly, including its spray foam, has been thermally proven in compliance with ASHRAE using 3-dimensional analysis by finite element method. This has confirmed a prescriptive R value of R10 continuous insulation and R14 between stud insulation, while also having an assembly U factor of 0.063, which is better than code, while utilizing the thermal isolators, which provide a more than compliant R1.55 thermal break. The spray foam utilizes the latest generation of HFO blowing agents with less than 1 GWP, which is global warming potential, and the BASF Wall-Tight LWF has US Green Guard Gold Certificate of Compliance for Chemical Emissions. The Back-Lattice Innovative Crisscross Thermally Broken Framing, once encapsulated with the many benefits of the closed cell spray foam, creates a synergy greater than the sum of its parts, which is what we refer to as back fusion for the exterior wall. If and when a 2-hour fire-rated assembly is required, then the amazing fire-resistant qualities of mineral wool is added into the remaining interior stud cavities. This R15 of batt can also be utilized to super insulate the back lattice up to R39 prescriptively, or with a total assembly U factor of 0.050. Back-Lattice has proven with Wolfe hygrothermal analysis from hot and humid climates up to cold and humid climates that this wall assembly, with or without the mineral wool, does not cause moisture buildup or moisture harboring. What good is energy efficiency if the walls rot from trapped moisture? Back-Lattice, however, is efficient, functional, and progressive. While the closed cell spray foam insulation performs exceptionally well as thermal, air, and vapor resistance, it, however, needs to be protected from combustion. As described in the NFPA 285 and proven with the E119 fire-rated wall assemblies, the exterior sheathing and the interior drywall provides this spray foam's protection. When an opening cuts through the wall assembly, then a moderate amount of special treatment is required to protect the vulnerable foam core. The jambs and head of the openings are ringed with a single layer of exterior grade sheathing, while the sills are clad with 3/4 inch thick exterior grade fire retardant plywood such as FRX, so that it will protect while also accommodating the load bearing of the window systems. While the gypsum sheathing is protecting the exterior of the wall panel, 5/8 inch thick Type X gypsum drywall is protecting the interior of the back-lattice wall assembly. This provides the necessary NFPA 285 compliance, as well as the code-required thermal protection of the plastic foam insulation, as well as contributing to the performance of the fire-rated wall assemblies. Typically, 1 layer of drywall is needed, while at fire-rated assemblies, 2 vertical layers are required. Back-Lattice takes its responsibility for safety so seriously that it is annually testing its wall assemblies to confirm, comply, and to innovate. Back-Lattice accommodates non-rated load-bearing assemblies by following its NFPA 285 assembly guidelines. Back-Lattice has also proven an array of fire-rated wall assemblies, such as 1 hour from both the interior and exterior with 100% load bearing, 2 hour from the interior with 80% load bearing, and our latest test of 2 hours from the exterior with 100% load bearing. While Back-Lattice prides itself on not having outward mineral wool insulation, our 2-hour assembly proudly utilizes outward 1 inch, 8-pound mineral wool solely for its fire protective benefits. Back-Lattice smartly disregards its minimal thermal benefits and does not mind if the mineral wool gets wet with summertime condensation. But wow, it performs spectacularly well in a fire condition. This concludes our overview of the Back-Lattice Wall Assembly. Back-Lattice is so innovative in how it places the primary wall performance components inward of the sheathing that we say Back-Lattice is back fusion for the exterior wall. Our goal at Back-Lattice is cheaper, faster, and better. So until our next presentation, thanks for joining us.